All right, cool. And anytime you're ready, go ahead and go.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Edna Keep from ednakeep.com, and you're listening to Jeff with Vroom Vroom Veer. And I help people buy real estate with other people's money to create financial freedom in multifamily apartment buildings.
Perfect. Well done. Practiced. And she took notes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
I just wanted the Vroom Vroom Veer part because
yes, it's a tongue twister on purpose. Yes, you did well. All right, I'm going to hit stop. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Are you ready to thoughtfully steer away from your revved up, frenzied, and far too often scripted life? Then welcome to Vroom Vroom Veer with Jeff Smith, where he guides you down the road differently traveled by sharing unique experiences with guests who have managed to shift away from a life stuck on cruise control and veered their way into a more authentic and fulfilling one in all sorts of interesting and kind of remarkable ways. Get ready to Vroom Vroom Veer with your differently traveled road chauffeur, Jeff Smith.
Daniel Mangena, thank you so much for coming back to Vroom Vroom Veer and welcome to the show. How's it going, man?
I'm groovy. Thank you for having me back. We had such a fun, fantastic, fabulous time.
So many laughs. I know.
I need to come back.
Right? Right. Yeah. And then we had this weird thing where you send me an email and I reply and you don't get it. And digits just suck. I apologize for the universe that it took us a while to get reconnected.
It did.
Isn't that weird? I don't even know why.
But everything's
it happens.
Perfect, though.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It all works out, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you are at dreamwithdan.com and you've got a new book coming out, and I love the title.
Yes.
Stop Meditating. Does it have an exclamation point on there?
No.
It should, right? Stop the presses.
Stop it.
Go ahead. Talk a little bit about the book and the webpage.
Yeah, so we're actually releasing it in October, but we're starting opening up for pre-sales and giving people some goodies to be able to do that.
Nice.
Round about when this is coming out. So, yeah, it's exciting times. I was going to write a book about something completely different.
Right. And then suddenly Monty Python popped in your head.
Yeah.
Like now for something completely different.
Yeah. Monty popped in, like, let me give you a hand with that, buddy.
There you go. John Cleese sitting on a desk in the middle of the street. And now for something completely different.
But it was off the back of getting my my TED Talk ready and having to go into my work and be able to condense 20 years of stories that I want to tell into 17 minutes.
That's a challenge.
Yeah. With like a single idea that I want to share. Like, what's the most important idea that I want to share from all of this thing?
Right.
And, we came down to expectation, the importance of expectation, how expectation creates our reality, which is another topic.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's one thing that is stopping people from actually honoring taking care of the other bits of business that need to be taken care of? And time again, it came down to the people that I see getting the least done in their life, unfortunately, are people that are doing the most spiritual things. And this is no judgment. This isn't about judgment, right?
I get it. No, I think
about judgment.
We've heard this before.
Yeah.
I've heard this before too. And I think I'm definitely guilty of this. Like just not exactly knowing how how do I communicate to the universe exactly what I need to do? And then what do I need to do about it? So I think the meditators, right, think you just sit and say Om and then everything's going to be awesome. And now I can watch TV and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Which is, it's sad because, it may not be meditation. It might be, I've done my yoga chant.
Right.
I've got the check on the wall for $1 million, so it's going to manifest itself and all of the things. And
people
love to quote, but Jim Carrey, he put a check in his wallet for $10 million made out to him for acting services rendered.
Yeah,
but he also was like getting booed off stages.
He also worked.
Exactly. And was getting booed off stages and did several movies.
He was failing and he was yes, exactly.
Sleeping in cars and,
Right.
I think he was an illegal immigrant for a little bit, and there was all the.
He's got an amazing story. I just bought his book. He's got a book out.
I want to read that.
Yes. I
tweet me
can
the
tweet
thing?
you the thing, or maybe send you a link. I don't even know the name of the book, but he was on Howard Stern talking about the book. And it just sounds. It's sort of like, it's like a fable. It's mostly fiction based on truth. Yeah. So it's something about like misinformation is in the title. But if you just Google Jim Carrey book, it'll come up.
Yeah,
I haven't
I'm
read
gonna-
it yet because I'm reading another amazing book that you should read too. That
Okay.
I got from Tim Ferriss. I know we're digressing, but
No, everything's perfect.
it's called The Overstory. Oh, Jim Carrey book. Yeah, Google that for sure.
And then the Overstory.
The Overstory by, I think his name is Jim Powers. So this is fun because of podcasting and lockdown. So what's his name? Damn it. Who plays Wolverine? Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman recommended The Overstory to Tim Ferriss on Tim Ferriss's podcast.
Wow.
And this is a fable that gives voice to trees.
Okay.
Good face. That's what I thought. I was like,
Okay.
I don't care about that. I don't think I'll like it, but I gave it a shot.
No, I think it's fascinating. I just
It's
had this whole thing of
totally
Lord of the
awesome.
Rings.
It's totally awesome.
We're going to save them. Like the big tree things in Lord of the Rings.
It's a little bit like
I wanna
that,
meet
but
these
way better
guys.
though. It's not that fable-y. It's more based in like, it's like fable based on real world. How's that sound? Because
Okay.
it's fable-y because none of this stuff is true. It's not.
It's tree somewhere.
Right. But it's not like a fable, like a kid story. It's just,
I'm with you.
it's nonfiction, but it reads like fiction. Or sorry, it reads like how can I say that?
It's the love
It is
child of fiction and
definitely-
non-fiction. It's
Correct, a
the
little
love
bit,
child of
right.
fiction. Yeah.
Right. So it's
Sexy
all
times.
fake, but it's based
Sexy
on
times.
reality. And it's amazing. It's got like lines like standing calm in front of a million universes, You want
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm in.
We're gonna do
As
this
soon as
thing.
I hit that line and it was early, I was like, "Oh, I'm in."
I mean, I've actually started doing a book review show every Wednesday over on Facebook that we're going to be putting out on the podcast, and then we want to use the video content as well. So I use that as the motivation to get back on reading a book a week, which I fell off with the baby.
Right.
But now I'm like getting more diligently back on finishing a book a week. So
Yeah.
you know.
Book reading is always better than Netflix binging. Not that there's
Yes.
anything wrong with Netflix binging. It's just, it's just
In
another
context.
thing. Yeah, it's just another thing. Right. Yeah, you can do that too much, I think. Especially in lockdown.
yeah, lots of that. What I tend to do is if someone recommends a show or like I enjoy a show, I ask myself, how does it make me feel? So, for example, I've gone back to Billions recently because
Okay.
it's just got me like motivated. Like, yeah, go and do it. Blah
Right.
blah blah. There is something that's just going to make me sad, depressed, and not feel very
Yeah,
good.
turn
I'm
that
not
off.
going to binge that.
There's a show, I don't remember the name of it on Netflix that my wife and I tried to like, and it was what you're talking about. I mean, it was just it's like sorrow porn. I know. Sorrow porn. It was just like there is no light in here. It's like everybody's corrupt, everybody's murderous, everybody's
Oh wow.
bad. It's like, how bad can we make this story? Everybody's
Yeah.
bad. There's no
The
good
darkness.
people. Yeah, it's all dark. It's all sorrow porn. It's like,
yeah.
I don't
That
need
doesn't-
that. No, I don't
no.
need that. I don't need that.
Yeah,
I'm sure it
someone tried to say-
exists, but I don't want to. I don't want to watch it.
The Sinner, I think The Sinner, someone, oh, this is an amazing show. And I watched the first episode, and the guys are the cops are degenerate, and the lady may or may not have been abused by her weird family, and she's murdering people for no reason on the beach. Like, I don't need that in my field.
Right.
That's not required in my reality right now.
I don't
You can
need
take
that.
me off the waiting list. I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah. I don't need that. Yeah.
No. It's
Sometimes,
important to uplift.
yeah, I need something. Even if you want to go dark in a show, there has to be a little light
Yeah.
somewhere.
All the
Because
darkness
that's
serves a
real.
purpose.
That's
All
real. The reality
Exactly.
is there's always lightness in dark, and there's always more
Exactly.
darkness than light. Just look at space; it'll tell you.
I've got you there.
But
There are a million suns and it is still pitch black.
right,
So there's definitely
but
something going on there.
one little candle will light a room that's huge, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you don't need a lot of light. right?
But at least let there be some.
There has to be light. There,
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay, wow. We're all
just our
digressing like now. So we had a plan. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this idea of relationship capital, because that was your number one. So let's do that.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the other stuff that we teased out, like fear and commitment and mindset.
Some other cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, relationship capital, I'll tell you a quick story. So
Stories.
The time that I really came to understand relationship capital, I'm going back to 2017.
Right.
2017, I kind of was coming to the point where making the transition out of my other business into what I do now was kind of making itself known to be what the path is. Then there was my whole Jonah and the whale situation, which is another completely different story. But anyway, I went to go and see one of my mentors. He's worth a couple of billion. I mean, he was just in the papers acquiring another oil company for 490 million. He sold another one of his businesses for like 800 million for half of it or something like. He's
playing Monopoly for real.
Yeah. He's doing his numbers, and he's been a mentor of mine for the past, I'd say, 5 or 6 years. And he's someone I can lean on for advice, and he's just a cool guy. He's always got time for me, so I've always got time for him. And I do some consulting work for him in my last business, and we do a little bit for him now. But he was in London, we sat down, and I told him, because what happened is that my old business that I was in this whole Jonah and the Whale thing about whether I'm going to leave or not was being misappropriated from me. Like, books of clients were getting taken and resources were disappearing, and there was a whole thing going on that doesn't really speak to today. But I was sharing with him what was happening, and that, I'm at this precipice. Am I going to sort of walk away from doing this and go and do this whole thing of sharing my story? And at the time, I thought I was going to be a poor teacher. I had no idea I was going to have a business that'd be doing 100K a month. That wasn't where I thought I was going to be. So, and he told me his story, and he said, I was on my face 15 years ago. It's like, what? He goes, yeah. And he told me his story. He first made his money with timber mills in West Africa. Now, I thought that he just came from money, because there's a certain amount of money that you just assume somebody got it. Like,
you must have had a hand up. You don't just have billions, right?
Yeah,
gotcha.
This came from somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, no, his dad was a diplomat, so he got the leg up to go and start that original business in terms of like some relationships, and this is a key thing. But then what happened is that in the 90s, there was a load of civil wars and uprisings right across that Horn of Africa, Nigeria, Liberia. It all kicked off. And so he had to basically just drop everything. He built up, a little multi-millionaire type of empire with the wood, and he had to just drop everything and leave because it was coming on top. And he ended up in London on a sofa.
Wow.
Like nothing. And he said within a year or a year and a half, he was worth millions again.
Wow.
And I said, what? And he goes, yeah, one thing, relationships.
Right.
And he said, doesn't matter what people take away from you in your business.
And that's the good version of who you know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said,
but the thing is, it's not just who you know. Mm-hmm. It's people that you know that also know you and that you can deliver.
And that's where the relationship comes in, because it's not just having a phone book.
Right.
It's having a phone book that you've shown up for and performed for. I had a call this morning, for example, with someone, and we were been going back and forth on having a call, and he goes, I've spoken to a few people that know you. You've got a good reputation. Let's do some business. I didn't even have to pitch him on partnering up on things. I didn't have to.
Right. You're like, okay. Right. Your work, the
relationships,
and you speak for you through others. Right.
So how we treat people. So for example, when I go into a relationship, I'm always, what can I give to people? How can I add to the space versus what can I get out? And we all know people like that.
Right.
And it just doesn't work.
That take versus give sort of mentality.
And
give
and
versus
giving.
take. Yeah.
And having that mindset of what am I going to add?
Right.
How can I help?
Exactly. How can
what can I offer? Mm-hmm. Always wins.
Always. Every time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Going in wanting nothing. Really. You wanting nothing but to give. Yes.
and being open.
Right.
And that's been and since I took that on board, it's been the leading light, because even opportunities exist with people. Like I've seen people who've got no cash, they've got no capital, they've got no resources, but they've got relationships.
And
so you can bring people together.
This brings me, the thought that comes into my mind is this is related to also like showing up as you, as authentic as you can.
100%.
So when you do show up and you're meeting someone new and you're you and you're giving and offering and having that, what you and I agree is the right winning mindset to win and help win. And the person that you're speaking to does not resonate, they will leave. You don't have to have another conversation. They'll just go, oh, you're one of those. And then they'll leave, you know? And so it's a perfect filter, right? For not wasting time on people that aren't.
People.
Oh, no, I don't want to judge. You can if you want to. It's hilarious.
It's not a judge, but if it's fact that they're skanky people.
I
didn't say how I feel about it.
I call them normal. I call them normal.
I call them normally skanky people. And I definitely stay away from them. No, but I think, judgment's a big one. But actually, I caught myself. I am a little bit judgy. I caught myself out on that recently. I'm a little bit judgy.
We're all a little bit judgy, dude.
I'm a little bit judgy. But I was a little bit bad. So I'm
okay.
working on that now.
It's all good. We're all doing the best we can with what we got.
The best that we can with what we got. That's all we can.
That's all we can do. Let's talk about how you define fear. So I wrote down
fear.
What is fear? Yeah, because I've got a thing that I like about fear.
Is that fear is false experience appearing real? Isn't that what they say is the acronym for fear?
I like that.
Yeah.
Say that again. False experience appearing
real.
Right. So it's almost like talking about the illusion, right?
Yes.
Right. And talking about things that you're making up in your head that have no basis in reality. I can talk about that forever.
But I lead a study group every Friday morning on something called reality transurfing, which is another conversation again.
That sounds fun.
It is really fun. And someone was saying that her emotions, she was getting caught up with her emotions. And I was like, well, our emotional response is based on the story. And the analogy that I gave was, I found out that this sign is like peace in America. This is really rude in England.
Right.
Especially if you move it up a few degrees.
Right.
Like,
look at me, Mr.
F-U.
Yes, right. And I know the story about why that came to be. Do you know
with
why?
The arrows?
Yeah, the arrows. Archers? Yeah, the archers and the arrows. That's right.
Yeah.
It's the French-British thing, yes.
Yeah, it's like,
so what was it? The British people were really good archers. So the French would cut off their fingers. Right. Yeah. So the FU was like, look at me, I got my fingers.
I got my fingers.
And I'm going to kill you next time I see you.
I'm going to kill you with arrows.
That's right.
But it's like this story.
Nice history lesson.
That's hundreds of years. It's probably 1,500 years old, maybe more. Something like that. Medieval England, France, when they were having it off with each other. Not 1,500, like 1,500s, in the 1,500s and such, when the French and the English were really going at it. It's like, that's where that came from, but we're still carrying a narrative around it and having an emotional response to something that's just two fingers.
Yeah.
Because in England, you turn it the other way and it's peace.
Oh, you have to turn it the other way. Okay.
Turn it the other way, it's peace.
Gotcha.
Turn it this way.
That's FU.
But this way is peace. It's like, It's just a simple flip. So when we come to fear, what we really are invited to do is to look at the narratives that we're holding on to and where they come from and whether we still choose them.
Okay, right.
Because the only two fears that we're born with are falling and loud noises. Every other fear is based on a narrative.
Falling and loud noises.
Those are the only two natural fears that we're born with.
I'm going to have to think about that one. Yes, I definitely don't want to fall. So we've all had that dream. And then you wake up in the start. I'm alive. I'm sleeping and I dreamt that I fell. Yeah. And that is that's not going away anytime soon. That's real.
No.
Okay.
And loud noises. But you can overcome them.
Okay.
You can overcome these But I see this.
Those
with
are
people
healthy
too.
fears. Those are good fears.
They are healthy
Right.
fears.
So if you're in the savannah and you're in Africa and you're on safari and you hear a loud noise that might sound exactly, stay
Time
in the
to run.
truck.
Yeah.
Get back to the truck. Get out of there.
Yeah, to run back to the truck and get away. So,
Right.
I mean, our mind, I think one of the things that we lose sight of, and I know we wanted to talk about mindset, we touched on it a little bit already. Our mind isn't our enemy, it's our friend.
Totally.
So fear was meant to be a supportive, protective program that comes in to let us know, okay,
Yeah.
something going on there.
Right.
Maybe you need to take care of it.
Right. And once you
But
get that, then you can start sort of leaning into the things because that's all your fears that are, in my experience anyway, the irrational sorts, not lions and loud noises and falling, but the other things that like, oh, I can't do that because XYZ PDQ in my past or whatever.
Or clowns.
These stories, clowns.
Right?
Or public speaking, right? I mean, like most people would rather do like anything else than public speaking, right?
Exactly.
It's the number one fear, right? And that's totally irrational. I get it. Is it? It's not falling or loud noises. Oh, it could lead to a loud noise, though.
It could lead to
Like a
the
lot of
applause.
laughing or applause.
Or the booze.
Or the booze.
boo.
It's probably
Yeah.
the booze, right?
Boo is probably,
It's
probably
pretty
more.
loud if it's a lot of people.
But, all of these things are, we're misusing a program that was designed to support us by having
Right.
fear.
Well, when you find a fear that's not authentic, like a real one, and then to me, I think it's something that it's an opportunity to lean into that. Right?
Agreed.
Right. See, there you go. I was going to say fear is love's opposite. But
I like that.
it takes a little bit of, if everything's love, when you forget it, then it makes you a little bit afraid. That I like that,
That's beautiful.
It is. I didn't write
Yeah.
it.
Fear is love's opposite.
Look at you.
The fear and go
I have to-
back to love.
I have to think about where that came from. I think it came from A Course in Miracles. So I'll
That sounds very much
A
M-dubs.
Course in Miracles. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds very much M-dubs.
M-dubs.
Yeah.
M-dubs. Who's M's? Oh,
Marianne Williams.
So she didn't write that book,
She didn't write A Course in Miracles?
Oh, no. Oh, no, no. She just sort of monetized it. Really? Oh, look, I'm enlightening Daniel Mangena. Wow.
Keep enlightening.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was, its official author is, I think, the Foundation in Peace, but it's a, what do they call it? It's like a channeled work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Channeled text.
It's a channeled text, and I don't remember the lady's name, but she was like a college professor. Her and her husband. Her husband wrote it down, and she channeled whatever spirit you want to believe. Yeah, that's where A Course in Miracle came from.
And then M-dubs just plopped a name on it and marketed the fudge out of it and then built a career on the back of that.
Pretty much. Well, I don't blame her. I mean, it's a really good idea.
That's a really good idea.
And more power to her. More of that
think
in the
if-
world.
if I know any-
Making her money with that is
I
awesome.
think if I know any conscious channels who's like, I can use to take
But yeah, you're right. Everybody. And when you hear A Course in Miracles, you think of Marianne Williamson right away,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, she's the loudest horn. Okay.
Brilliant.
I think the people that wrote it died. So,
Oh.
and they're more than happy that the idea is out there and getting spread by M-dubs. M-dubs.
Beautiful. Love it.
So, okay. So let's talk about When All Is Lost, Let Hope Be Your Guide. That was fun. So talk a little bit about what darkness, being lost, and how hope can help you out.
So there's a principle in reality transurfing called the advantage principle.
Okay.
And what the
Sounds
advantage
like tennis.
What the advantage principle invites us to look at is that really the only thing that's real is right now.
Correct.
And in the right now, in the now, we have the opportunity to have a launch pad to whatever we want to create. Now, we can take this launch pad and we can become lost in what we don't want to continue and to what's happened and be in the dumps and rehash things, or we can launch off and go and do something cool, groovy that we want to experience next. So when we are tapping hope, we're allowing ourselves to see the light that gives rise to us to be able to make the launch pad out of where we're at now. Because the thing that you're sad about, I mean, look, by the time something sad has happened and you've stopped to think about you being sad about it, you're now reflecting on something that's happened in the past and isn't even real anymore, apart from you bringing the memory of that into the present moment.
Right.
So you can take ideas like the advantage principle, and I'm sure people have other ideas that fit the same, that do the same role.
Right.
But to actually open the field up for you to step away from the sorrow porn and actually go and do something bright, lovely, and wonderful, because we go back to infinite possibilities of where we go next every new moment.
Right. So I think my key lesson is when I was a kid, I grew up in the Midwest of America, and we're not allowed to talk about emotions there. So
the entire Midwest is banned from speaking about
correct.
emotions.
Yes.
Sounds legit.
Well, I can't say for now because I don't live there anymore.
I escaped.
But I did.
From the movie studio.
I did escaped. I escaped from the frozen tundra of Upper Peninsula, Michigan. But we, so when I, entered the world at 18, right, and joined the Air Force, there were people that actually talked about emotions and they processed them healthily. I was like, that's a new thing. So a good Midwesterner will be very Pollyanna about everything. When bad things happen, they go, okay, well, whatever. Just plug on through, right? But that's not going to actually, that has some downsides.
Because the energy's still there and not been processed.
You're not processing, right. This whole idea of an emotion needs to be processed and it has some information that could be beneficial. And then you come back out and you grew. Whoa, what happened? These were never spoke of in my childhood. So I was that for a long time. So it's not that. I think a lot of people especially again, the people that you're talking to in your book, the Stop Meditating crowd, the audience, they are very much like they just want everything always to be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Everything is awesome, right? It's not. You have to actually process those. When you get lost, it's okay. You go feel bad. It's good to feel bad when you feel bad.
and this is something that a dear friend of mine, Anne Jensen, created. She actually got her PhD from Oxford University, creating a tool called Heart Speak.
Nice.
And Heart Speak teaches you how to transmute any emotion.
Right.
Because none of them are bad. They all serve a purpose.
Totally.
It's just sometimes
that's what I do.
Come to work.
It's funny that you say that. That's because that's what I do. Have you ever done that where you just, I know you have, but it's silly. When I just like laying in bed or meditating or whatever, and I have like this feeling, right? Like I think it happened in the beginning of lockdown. I think we all went through this mass grief of the world pre-lockdown. We all just grieved what the world
where
was.
Where is my life that I loved?
I want to go to a show. Right? Everything, right?
Yeah.
So I was like particularly scared because there was police activity in my neighborhood very close. I think a couple nights later, I was just overwhelmed with emotion, just sad. That and I learned. I'm like, okay, ask your heart what it wants to tell me. Okay, heart, why do you feel bad? It really doesn't even know, but I stopped for a while. And then I felt better. Exactly. And then I felt better. Right. It's called processing an emotion, all you Midwesterners.
Welcome to the world of emotion processing.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. So that's good. So I'm with you on that. I learned a lot when I know you went through depression and suicidal thoughts and or attempts too. Go
We
ahead.
didn't make it to the attempt. We didn't make it to the attempt. 'Cause
Congratulations. I did
Yeah.
twice. So
You did twice.
I did.
Can I tell you the magic that for me, the
Of
happy
course.
accident?
Of course.
I didn't want to fail, so I didn't try because I didn't want to fail. I went
Right.
off to try and work out how to make sure I don't fail.
I was saved by chemistry, basically. So one of my more ardent attempts was rat poison mixed in ice cream. So
But I want to celebrate anyway that it
I
did
lived.
go horribly wrong.
Actually, the upside of failing that suicide was feeling horrible the next day. So all of my suicide attempts were couched with, if I'm not dead, I have to go to work. Hilarious as that sounds, because I was in the Air Force, so right, I could not show up to work. So I dragged my poisoned ass to work and suffered through that day and pooped out some green stuff, and
Yeah, that'll be a lesson.
but you know what though? Then I felt better. I was like, well, what the hell do I have to do? Just like you, right? I failed again, right? And it's like piling on, right? It just got funny at that point. My comedian saved me at that point. It was just like, you can't even do that right, you idiot. That's what you do in depression. It's just like,
or maybe it's like, maybe this isn't your vocation. Maybe committing suicide isn't your vocation. Let's try life. Let's try the life option.
I learned, like, really what got me through the depression was fuck it. So, like, not dying from rat poison is the best fuck it ever. Like, fuck it,
Yeah.
What's going to hurt me now? I can do life now. Right. I can do life now because I have fuck it. Fuck it. So I just dialed down. I was taking everything in life way too seriously. Basic.
That's one of the Danisms that I love is none of us are getting out of life alive. No point in taking it all so seriously.
Right. It's true. So true. I another law that I figured out was that death is not an escape. There's no escape in death. So consciousness to me has no escape clause. So once you are human, you're not getting out. Even when you die, you're not getting out. You're not. So it's don't bother. I think that's a lesson from that movie, Groundhog Day. We don't even know how many times he committed suicide in that movie. Didn't work, right? He just kept coming back. I think that is a immutable law of the universe that I believe that may or may not be true.
Well, there's also another lovely message from that love is the escape from the repetitive thing that we want to end.
Right. Well, I also have come to believe that love is the thing, the one thing. It's either consciousness or love, or conscious love, or a field of love
is
consciousness.
The purest form of consciousness.
Yes. Whatever it is, it's conscious and loving. How's that sound?
Yeah. The love child of love and consciousness is life.
Oh, look at you. Dropping the bombs. I like that. Poof.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
It's over.
Exactly.
Let's go on.
Indeed.
Let's talk a little bit about how you rewrote your story and when and why you had to. I know we talked a little bit about this last time, but we didn't go that deep.
I did it by accident.
You rewrote the story by accident.
By accident.
Well,
Because
okay, you tripped in a new story.
I didn't have the fuck it moment. I didn't have that. I just was like, I'm on my mission. I will understand why my manifestation tools have gone to poop so that I can not fail when I do have another stab at suicide. And
interesting.
I went off and I was literally positively polluting my mind with so much positive content. I actually reprogrammed it by accident. So I sabotaged my mission.
So you accidentally fell into positive thinking.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And I didn't even realize that I'd done it.
You needed a little Pollyanna, basically.
Yeah. So Pollyanna.
Everything's awesome.
All of the things. But not so much everything's awesome, but everything has the potential to be awesome, and everything isn't completely dark and
empty. Right.
So the candles got lit, basically.
Right. It's an interesting story how I came around to that. It took a long time, even after my depression, suicide. Like the fuck it stage was not the end all be all. I was still pretty effed up.
Of course, because we need
On
to
the
heal.
inside. Yeah.
And part of the stop meditating message is
Right.
stop bypassing the healing.
It's yes, for sure. But for me, it was more about I went all in on figuring out what the F was going on, like in the universe. Now, not in human affairs. Could give two shits. I didn't care about money.
Yeah.
I didn't care about my job. I mean, the job was, keeping me fed, so I need that. But
Yeah.
I just really went all in on trying to figure out for myself, this spiritual thing. Like, what is the universe doing with us little humans, right? So it took the form of all the books and all the guys and the A Course in Miracles and Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and what'd you call her? M-Dubs?
M-Dubs, yeah.
I actually volunteered on her congressional campaign for one day.
Do you think she should have gone into politics?
Well, why not? I mean, if she wants to, I'm not going to judge that. Sure.
You're not going to judge? You're not in my team anymore. We judge people over here.
If she wants to do that, if she thinks she can make that work, me personally, never. Wouldn't want to do that. But we need politicians that are enlightened. That
we need some candles in the
we
dark.
need some candles in the wind, baby. Yes. So I'm not gonna. If I love somebody and they want to go throw their hat in that ring, hell's yeah, I'm gonna vote for them.
I've got you.
I couldn't vote for her because she wasn't in my district, but I could volunteer.
I'm with you.
So, I mean, me personally, hell no. I'm not throwing my hat in that ring, but more power to her. I hope she wins. I hope she's president of the universe. That would be awesome.
More love, definitely more love, more love.
Right. There you go. So
universal boom boom.
Let's talk about how, so we're getting close to wrapping up. We got about 7 minutes until 11 o'clock. Okay. So I know people get messed up about celebrating financial abundance. Like everybody that's spiritual has to be poor. Where'd that come from?
Honestly, I think it was designed to keep people wrapped up.
I've heard that before. Right. It's like
easy to control.
Frank Zappa said that. The meek will inherit nothing.
The meek will inherit some bad debt and
more meekness.
Empty stomachs.
Right.
No, for me, I mean,
history of programming basically is what that is.
Just look at nature. Like the only thing in nature that doesn't have a natural state of abundance is things that humans come in and mess up with their lack mentality.
Totally. Scarcity is made up.
It's a human construct. It's not something that exists in nature.
Right.
Nature always overflows, always has its needs met, always does its thing. So when people deny themselves the full expression of themselves, they're actually acting out of alignment with how nature actually functions.
Nature, yes. Interesting.
So I'm just like, well, you're not celebrating financial abundance because you're listening to a story, but it's not your natural state. I'm not talking about, the kill or be killed, take everybody out at the knees. That's lack. That's not abundance.
Right.
Abundance is there's enough for me, there's enough for you. We can all have our needs met and overflow.
This whole, have you heard this idea of win and help win? It's like the new mantra that I'm down with. Yeah. It's almost like I don't even want to say win. Because win is like another thing that I don't really like because it implies someone lost. So I could say
for me,
like
I think there's win and participate. You're not losing. You've got something to gain from the experience. You had a good workout. You had some exercise. You had some fun.
We could say grow and help grow.
Yeah.
Same,
I had this thing
with
Ariana, my stepdaughter, because they've got like musical chairs on a Friday at school and she wins sometimes, she doesn't win other times. It's like, dude, do your best and have fun.
Thank you.
And if
I
you
wish
win-
you were my parent when I was a kid.
And if you win, cool, we'll celebrate that. But
Yeah.
if you've done your best and had fun, that's all that matters. And if somebody else wins, celebrate them.
Right.
But be so busy doing your best and having fun
Right.
that other people's stuff isn't even your problem.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with losing and feeling bad either. You need to feel bad if you're really like competing and you want to compete. Then when you lose, feel bad. I would not feel bad. Again, not processing emotion. I'm okay. I don't really even care about this stupid game.
But look at nature. Nature has competition. Competition
Of
is,
course.
it's,
Yes.
it's natural.
Yes.
But nature doesn't compete for fun. It competes for the expansion and betterment of all. It's not a
Right.
selfish,
Right.
competitive,
Right.
destroy everyone. It's competition to make sure
It's
that
pretty
we,
rare.
as a whole,
It
move
happens.
forward.
Right. It does happen in nature where like lions kill other lions because they're not fast enough to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
That happens. But that's nature taking care of itself. It's like, okay,
That's it.
those lions weren't fast enough. Right.
And it's cool. I think it's cool.
Right. Oh yeah. I've got birds. I've got bird drama going on in my backyard now. So this
Okay.
it's awesome. You're giving me that face. Like, why are you watching birds in your backyard? Oh, it's so amazing. So I've got 2 finches. I think they keep coming back. They've got nests in the trees. And then we've got 2 or 3 hummingbirds. And the hummingbirds, man, they are very territorial.
Really? They're so small.
Any hummingbird, they'll chase another hummingbird and they get into sword fights with hummingbirds, right? And as soon as the flowers come out, they're all like, "Hey, Finch, get the hell out of here. This is my yard." Amazing.
So small. It's like dogs. The smallest ones are the most ferocious.
They are amazing. They're amazing little animals, but super territorial. I mean, they need all the juice. They need all the juice. They need all the bugs. It's like, this is my yard. I mean, everybody, they're mostly just annoying because they're so tiny, right? So they're not, but they do, they've got that little poker. Hey, it's like, come on, dude. That's my little finch house. Leave me alone, It's crazy. All right, so let's wrap this show up. Talk a little bit about the new book, where people can get in touch with Daniel Mangena. And
Dreamwithdan.com. Dreamwithdan.com.
And the
We've got
name of the
page
book.
there. Stop Meditating.
Stop Meditating. No, no subtitle on there.
There may be a subtitle by the time this goes out, but at the moment, no.
There always is, but
There always is.
it's Stop Meditating, and that's going to be
Yeah.
at the same link.
Yeah, go to dreamwithdan.com. On the books tab at the top, there's like a books tab, and you'll be able to get on the info.
Books, more than
That's
one.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I've
go
got
back
like
and read the
four
whole
of them.
library. Right.
All of the things.
Stop Meditating, dreamwithdan.com. We could hang out all day, but my wife has got me on a leash. So
Yeah, and I've got something to do also.
I know you do. All right.
Well, we're going to have you on our podcast too, and we'll hang out some more and do the other side of this conversation.
Yeah. I hope we don't have to talk about business or anything because I don't want to.
No, we're going to talk about fun
This
things.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah. It's fun stuff. Stuff that really matters.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good face. Like, why would we do that?
Why would we do this? Yeah.
Good Yoda.
But thanks for having me. Thanks for having me again. This has been cool.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.
You too.
Thanks for taking the time to ride along with us on another episode of Vroom Vroom Veer. For podcast info and show notes, be sure to head over to vvveer.com. That's VVER.com. Man, that's fun to say. And we'll catch up with you next time here on Vroom Vroom Veer.